Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Last Epoch dev stream. I'm your host, Mike. And welcome. We are going to be resuming our playthrough with our Paladin. I love the holy aura goes on Minimus there. I've never noticed that before. Yeah, we're playing Rebuke, Holy Aura, Javelin, Lunge, Multi-Strike, all with ways to proc Smite. How's everybody doing today? We're still on the first timeline here. Happy Friday, happy Friday. If this is your first time here, what we do is we answer questions and play our video game, which is pretty cool. Oh, we got pretty high up here in this jaunty path. Let's flip over here for a bit. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to at Last Epoch Game. I will do my best to answer them all as quickly as I can. Interested what build I'm playing. Exclamation mark build should bring that up. And yeah. Seeing Games TV, first question of the day. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Mike. Long time no see. Oh, it's been a week. You know, it's always a week. By the way, I just love freaking Javelin. You guys should do a complete new mastery around throwing spears and Javelin. I mean, it's pretty great, yeah. I don't know if it could support an entire class just on its own. There's definitely some good stuff in it for different masteries. I think Forge Guard and Paladin have the primary support for it. We got a raiding party here. Lone Star McFluffin coming in hot. 32 people. Glad to have you with us. Thank you very much. How's everybody doing here? Am I satisfied with the ward mechanic? Love it. Do you plan to rework it? Not imminently. If there's something major that happens, we might. Do you have any plans for the Spellblade? Yeah, I think Spellblade has most of their abilities. They might be missing one still. I can't remember. Spellblade's a fairly put together class, so there's definitely reworks that need to happen on a couple skills that are getting a little older these days. But it's far from the most in need, I would say. You know, word's a really tricky thing because it's I think it's actually a really great mechanic. It's tough to balance, and we've definitely had times where it got out of hand, where like people are like, oh, I've got 50,000 ward all the time, no matter what, and you're like, okay, that might be too much.
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy. There we go. What's that? Holy Aura Plus, nice. I know you want to talk 8-3, but I want to talk Primalist. Any chance Shaman will be getting a lightning themed spell in 8-4? Maybe a true lightning archetype to Maelstrom and Tornado that turns them into pure lightning damage. I don't think so. Most of the Primalist stuff we have planned for next patch is focused around the Druid. That's the primary focus. Ooh. That's pretty nice. Well, yeah, most of it focused around the Druid, so we're taking a long look at all of the transforms pretty heavily, and then some other things as well. So there's a lot of work going into those. Not a bad crafting base, I guess. Oh, we've got a Dahariel is gifted a sub to Aaron Action RPG. Wonderful. I knew we'd get you subbed eventually. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Where are we at? Powixu? Powyux? I don't know how to say it. Sorry, 7. do you rework every class like the Sentinel? No, I mean there's Sentinel was, a lot of the skills were very, very old. Void Knight was arguably the first real mastery that was in the game, because for a while it was basically like Mage, Primalist, Void Knight was for a little bit at the start. Or I guess Necromancer was there too, wasn't it? No, Necromancer was after. And regardless, it's a lot of the skills were in need of some updating for sure. There's an equally large update coming to Druid, I would say. Just based on like the transforms are basically getting thrown out and started over. And I mean, some stuff is sticking around because there are some things we really like about them. Just as a matter of taste, Mike, do you know what the word is? Is it a foul word? Hello, hello, hello! Have you considered making the Primalist Sabretooth look more ferocious? Yeah, the Sabretooth is Primalist needs some Sabretooth Bear. Bear looks really good, but it's the tree is whatever. Sabretooth and Bear need some love for sure. I don't know if the model will get changed much. I assume it will. The model's getting pretty old. The Bear model I do really like. The Sabretooth model, though, I could see getting some updates.
Yeah.
Have you considered making do you change every class model like Primalist? Well, some of them need just like minor tweaks. So like the Sentinel got an update last patch as well. I think the Mage, most of them need a glow up, I would call it.
I cannot do that.
And that'll happen. Are you going to rework for totems because the nodes in the Beastmaster tree are unfeasible to get Warcry totem and Frenzy totem? It's hard to answer questions if we're gonna rework stuff. So if you've got specific suggestions on nodes or skills you'd like reworked, the best thing to do is head on over to Discord or our forums and suggest it there. That'll if you're hoping to get something reworked, that's the best way to get it reworked. And just like leave a reason why you think it needs help and things like that. I read somewhere that the crafting is going to be reworked. If it's true, what about do you like versus what do you want to change about it? So there's actually a really good link from a stream about a month and a half ago now that I will grab because I have it bookmarked, where I go into this in great detail. It's a little safer for me. Grab this for you one sec. Here's that link. Just gonna post it in chat. So here's a link to a clip. I think it's about 7 minutes long that I ramble for. You can watch this later. I'll give you the TLDR right now. Basically, there's a feels bad moment when you fracture something when you think you shouldn't. So when you're crafting and you fracture an 80% plus item, it sucks. And it feels like something's wrong because most items fracture at 80% plus, which I know on the surface sounds like, oh, that's obviously a bug. It's not. That's how the math works. Bottom line is we need a way to make the crafting system feel better. Make it feel the way it seems like it should work, if that makes any sense. So we're looking to bring that feel to be in a better spot. The core functionality of being able to take a shard off of an item and put it on another item deterministically of this is what it's going to get, that we're not planning on changing that. So the core mechanics of how the base functionality works, we're not planning on changing. But we want to change how your feelings are when interacting with the system. Because right now there's a lot of feels bad moments and not a lot of like excitement moments. There's a lot of relief. There's relief and disappointment, but there's not really much in the way of excitement. Every once in a while you get a little bit, but not much. When will I be able to click one button and reset my passive points? Possibly never. I think it's more likely that we'll be doing a. We're definitely looking to overhaul how you redo your passives, where it'll be like right click to remove, left click to allocate, and then have a running total on what it's going to be. Possibly a like reset button in there maybe, and it'll recalculate what the cost is going to be or something. I don't know. We still have to look at how that whole system works. It's not scheduled for this patch. The bird is the word sigh. Yeah, see, I said it's a foul word. A fowl is a type of birds or fowls. I was one-upping the joke. Gotcha. I got you. Hi chat and last Epoch game. Hello. How are you doing? Bought the game 3 weeks ago. I've played almost 100 hours already. I have to say you guys are doing a really good job with the game. Keep the good work, and I hope you get thousands of people when you release 1.0 or even online before that. Thank you. I hope you do too. I think that would be cool. I do need to stricten up this loot filter a little bit. Is that a word, stricten? Make it more strict. Increase the strictness. Any plans on expanding limits on the loot filter to support more rules? Oh yeah. Loot filter's not done. Loot filter is always a work in progress. There's definitely features and ways of filtering that we know a lot of people really want. I know we will expand what is available on the loot filter. I do not know when that will happen or exactly what the next feature to be added will be, but we will be working on the loot filter and expanding it. What else do we got here? Don't know if it's been asked, but I feel like this stream without questions is lacking multiplayer when? When it's ready. It has to be one every stream, so you know. Thank you for... We didn't have one yet. Do I ever get annoyed at answering all our questions on Discord channel? No, not at all. I prefer the questions that are that come with context. So like if you're asking about a specific node, having a screenshot of that node there, I really appreciate that whenever questions get asked that way. Just because it makes it so much easier. It's like I don't have the game open. Actually, I started using last Epoch tools to go look up the names of nodes. And we actually built a tool in the project to find names of nodes easier, specifically because to find question answers. But most of the time I'm on my phone, and I just don't have access to those resources easily. If you are asking questions on the Discord, and it's mostly around suggesting a new feature or something you want to get added, I would prefer it gets put in the suggestions and feedback channels because I do look at those too.
I cannot do that.
It keeps the questions channel more relevant. But no, I wouldn't do it if it bothered me at all. I love it that we get so many questions in. It's fantastic. Is there a link for what they're working on for the primals? We don't have any details. Oh, thank you. We've got... Oh, I missed something else here. Boardman resub for 3 months in a row. Fantastic. Wonderful. Will, and you got a question here. Will 8.4 be for the primalist what 8.3 was for the Sentinel? Also, hi, Mike. Hi, buddy. Yeah, I think it'll be more for the Druid than the whole primalist, if that makes any sense. But it's gonna be sweet. And we got Heavy coming in hot with 510. Is that 10? Looks like 10 gifted subs to me. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And we've also got Illyri Eve. We subbed 2 months in a row. Thank you for interacting so much with the community. I really appreciate it. You're most welcome. Alright. Is there a link for what they're working on for the Primus? We don't have details yet, so quite often when we are... We started a patch, and we've already decided a while ago, like, roughly what's going to be in it. But then we add in, like coming off of the most recent patch, we take a lot of that information and we'll tweak what we were already planning on working on, and then we will we'll also take into account like things change, new builds show up, tons of new information shows up. Am I even going the right way here? I am. I just walked right past it, didn't I? Whoops. And like so what we're working on for the patch changes a little bit at the start of it. We do a ton of meetings. We reaffirm what we're gonna do, sort out exactly what's gonna be in the patch, and then we get to work on it. And as we go, sometimes a new idea comes up mid-patch cycle. Sometimes we get new tech that lets us do something that we couldn't do before. Like, there's all sorts of things that can happen that will change what's coming in the patch. Maybe something, we run into a roadblock and a feature can't be added or something like that for now. Or, you know, like there's lots of different things that can change what's coming out in the patch. So we don't like to really commit and promise what's coming until we know that's what's coming. So that's why when you start to see a little bit later in the patch cycle, getting closer to the next patch, we start teasing a lot of things. And the things we're teasing is the stuff we've already finished. And that we're like 100% sure is going to make it, type thing.
Too heavy.
Too heavy. Yeah, right. Yeah. So there's no list. We got a ton of subs coming in. Oh my goodness. Tiboner, sub Twitch Prime, thank you very much. Jahariel coming in hot. I don't even know how many that is. It looks like the 15, the 20. Looks like 20 to me. It is 20. Thank you very much. You guys are fantastic. You know that? Really great. If anyone is new here and they are unaware, all of our streaming goes directly to charity. We are doing Doctors Without Borders this month. We do a different charity every month. Yeah. Let's dump some gear off. Some of this is probably way better than what we're wearing. Quiet, there's your belt. Still gotta talk to you about that. So many of them. Heavy's got a bunch more. Oh my goodness, there's 10 more from Heavy. Everyone in here is just going to be subbed at this rate. Just not going to mean anything. I have no problem with that. Just for the record. Alright. Another question here. What kind of mode is Lost Memories? That's still something that is very much in development. It is not finished, so I can't really give you any details on it yet. For a similar reason to why we don't have like details on lots of things. Like, for example, legendary items changed several times exactly how they were going to work and interact with other systems in the game before we really landed on what we wanted. Yeah, stuff changes a lot. You know, we learn and grow.
I cannot do that.
Figure out that we were silly. Are there more coming in and I'm just missing them? What? I don't even know what's going on. There's so many at this point. It is fantastic. Thank you all. I know you said the focus on the druid for 8-4, but will there be work on Shaman as well? Only 3 spells, not 5. It's got 4, I think, doesn't it? doesn't have 4. One of them's getting moved there apparently. So I'm pretty sure there's 4 right now. Yeah, because it's just missing its top ability right now, and that top ability I don't think is coming next patch. At least it's not scheduled yet, and I'm not working on it yet. Either something's getting moved there, or it already has 4. Yeah, the primary focus will be on Druid, not Shaman. Have you considered a Wild Axes attack for Primalist? A throwing Wild Axes attack for Primalist. Primalist really, no, I haven't considered that yet. Well, we have considered it, but not specifically recently, and we're probably not going to do it yet. And we've got even more gifted subs. Daedalus has gifted, it looks like 10 more subs. I have no idea what we're up to at this point. This is ridiculous. Guys, this is fantastic. Thank you. Wow. I'm gonna mute this for a little bit because all I can hear is that dling, dling. And I'm struggling to answer some questions here. Throwing on Primalist. So we really don't have much throwing on Primalist at all yet. Throwing is really Sentinel Rogue. Those are the 2 base classes that really hit throwing archetypes, and it'll probably stay that way, at least for the time being, just because it's adding in all that extra support into the passive tree clutters it. You may notice that there's like empty space up here. There's actually room to support more rows if we want, if we need more space, but really that's if we're adding archetypes, and we were just sort of future-proofing the UI for it. For now, throwing is probably going to stay Sentinel Rogue. Is there a player count you aim for? A number of players to develop the game further after 1.0, a bare minimum? I mean, there's 1. If there's someone playing the game, I'll be working on it. I don't think we have any set numbers for that, really. Alright, not sure if this makes it in time, but you missed a patrol back at the beginning of the Canyon Stronghold. I did not. I'm sorry. But thank you for the heads up, I appreciate that. Hire me, and I'll provide context to everyone not providing context in questions channel. just like I mean, that would be a cool bot. We could actually make a bot that we, like, I don't know, put like exclamation mark and then the name of the node, and it would just like go look up the node from the database or something. Can you make that bot for us? Database would have to be automatically updated with game files each patch. That would be the pain part of it. Damn, it's probably sitting here like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. We've got more. We have 5 more gifted subs from Asteria. Asteria? That's a cool name. Alright. Hello all. How are you doing, Mike? Pretty good, Master Sword. How you doing? Glad to have you with us. Not that bad. Less spicy than I thought. That's like a Frank's Red Hot, not a Da Bomb or something like that. Any chili heads out there, you'll know Da Bomb is sadistic. I think it's the best word for it. We're not there yet. I might switch to split javelin. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this, but like, the lightning fury, it's just like the feels. It feels so good. We'll see. I'm gonna be readjusting my build slightly here. Boom! There's a bounty. There's a bounty. There's another bounty. That's a Paladin. Hey, at last Epoch game, played through only once, but I enjoyed the game. With the cyclical nature of ARPGs, how do you see Last Epoch fitting into the genre with existing titans like PoE and Diablo? Purposely offsetting patch releases from other game patches would be great as a player. I completely agree. That is something we do plan to do. Yeah, we know that there is definitely room in the world for multiple awesome ARPGs. We also know that the patch, not the patch, like the popularity of a game definitely influxes with a new patch hugely. Like you can just look at the player counts on like SteamDB for literally any ARPG and it's really obvious, right? We think it would be foolish to intentionally release patches on the same day as PoE. Like that would be silly for us to do. We have no intention of doing that. That would be bad for both of us. Yeah, we already, like, even with our patches now, it's much less of a big deal right now because we are in early access. But even now, we consider what else is going on in the in the genre before picking a patch date. I'm sure everyone does, really. I doubt we're taken into consideration as much, you know. Like, but I bet PoE looks at Diablo and Diablo looks at PoE and, you know, things like that. And like we know that like PoE was looking at I'm embarrassed I can't remember the name of this game. The one that was really cool that ended up being less cool than people thought it was going to be, but is still really cool, and it will get really cooler as patches come out. Cyberpunk 2077. So sometimes it's not even just straight, like, our genre specifically.
I cannot do that.
Alright. Any sneak peeks for the Prime list today? I don't have much prepped. Like, I feel like there was something I was allowed to share. Oh yeah, we've got a new way of, like, letting me know what I'm allowed to share. Where is that? I've got things. They're made for sharing. Ready to share. Reveal on DevStream 917. That's today, guys! Status ready, not shared. Oh, wonderful. Okay, let's get that, because I don't have it. Alright, that'll be coming in a bit. I just asked someone for a little clip. Oh, spicy. Spicy's right. I'd give this like a sriracha on spicy, you know? Like it's getting up there. Some people can't handle it, but you know, most people it's just about right for daily use. Alright. Is this a Let's Play stream or showing off new stuff? This is I'd say a Let's Play, Q&A Let's Play. So yeah, I'm just playing through content. This is the exact same patch you can see in the top left corner, 8.3e. This is exactly what's on live right now. Yeah, the primary purpose for this is to let people know that they can come here and ask questions and talk with developers directly about the game.
I cannot.
Me playing is just in case someone's new and they haven't played the game yet, or they like deciding if they want to buy it or anything like that. Like it's just good context where I can also look things up in game quickly. It's more about the questions than anything else. I also just like playing the game, so this is a chance for me to play. So mostly I'm just working on it, not playing it, and I'd rather be playing it.
I cannot shoot.
But I mean, who wouldn't rather be just playing video games, right? I do quite enjoy working. Alright, time to skedaddle. Who we got next? 40s TTV. Here's a more specific Shaman question. Within the tornado ability, there's a node that can cause lightning strikes. This node only has lightning spell scaling tags, but not attunement. Attribute scaling tags for sub-proc skills don't mean anything. Maelstrom 1 has attunement, but not tornado. Sorry, I don't know what the actual question is. I guess short answer is scaling tags for secondary proc skills mean literally nothing. When you see one on a proc skill as a secondary ability, it's there because we know that the parent skill has the same scaling tags, and we've added it there just as a just to cue in that it is inheriting it. All right. How are you and the dev team doing, Mike? Fantastic. Any chance you have some leaks for upcoming patch or still in hotfix mode? We're pretty well out of hotfix mode. There might be one more. I'm not sure if we'll do another one or not. It really depends if something major comes up, I think. I think we hit pretty well all the major things that needed to be tackled. But yeah, I've got a leak. I've asked someone for it, and they're not responding. That's someone else. I know they're they're testing multiplayer right now, so I can imagine why they're not responding to me. So you've landed on legendaries. Does that mean they're coming soon? Maybe. It does mean that they are much further along than they were previous to us figuring out exactly what we're going to do with them. I would say it's a very good sign for them coming sooner than before. Someone asked me on Reddit about it, and someone was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a cold legendary," and I'm like, I think I replied something like, "There's at least one that I know of." Will there be pause in offline mode for 1.0? Oh, it doesn't do it. I think that's something. Pause in offline mode is a, I would say, highly requested feature, and something that I think likely we'll get to eventually. When you're working in the editor, it does pause in offline mode. But the way we did it only works in the editor, it doesn't work in the actual build. Oh, they both replied to me now. Okay, downloading some video clips here for you guys. Give me a second here. I gotta put the. Oh no, that's fine. I thought I just closed the wrong thing. Let's find another question I can answer while I'm setting this up. be a little bit of nuance. Is Werebear going to stay as Druid class locked? Yes, definitely. The only transform ability that's not going to be class locked is Spriggan, which I believe is how it is now. So I don't think that's changing. And the new transform. Oh, that AoE, it always hurts. I'm stubborn and I just try and DPS through it. The new transform will be class locked. It's it'll be this, and this might change, but right now the plan is to have the new transform skill be the second from the top. So like, it'll be whatever the entry level skill is, Spriggan form, new transform, something else, and the something else. The order is changing a little bit too. Something else is something that's already in the game. Turn off the sound, easy. Is the sound bad?
I cannot do that.
Probably in response to something else earlier. You should tag last Epoch game if you want your question to be answered. Yes, that's a good tip. Down. Yeah. Eat it. What's this? What's this? Not bad. Yeah. Alright. Does Javelin Battle Standard healing the Paladin count as a self-heal for the self-heal damage buff node? I think it does, because the Battle Standard is an ability, not a minion, so it's the same exact mechanics as like just using Healing Hands on yourself. And when it casts Smite, it's actually you casting Smite anyways. So yeah, it should. I mean, I applied for the game dev, but sure, I can make a Discord bot too. There's several of us that have worked on Discord bots now. Ace Tree, do you plan to add more features to Monolith of Fate to have more interactions with Echo Web? Yeah, it's I would say Monolith of Fate is mostly finished for now. We'll likely see work on new endgame systems before major changes happen to the Monolith, just because it's like working really well. It's like a lot of the things we wanted to do, it's doing it. Like, yeah, so it's working really well, and I don't think we'll see major changes to the Monolith of Fate before another endgame system appears. But
I cannot.
Anything could happen. These guys, they're so cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh my goodness. We just leave? I think I just leave. Alright, at least that's the Epoch game. We need some totem love for the Shaman. We all love the stream and appreciate all the hard work you do. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that the Shaman is finished and won't ever see any improvements. Far from it. It's just the primary focus for next patch is Druid transforms. Do you know you do a real solid 5-8 damage on bare fists with basic melee attack OP build? I did not know that. It's impressive. I love the Javelin Rain and Split Javelin ideas so much. I tend to combine them guessing it wouldn't work, but just hoping it does not work. No. Should probably be more explicit when that doesn't work, but no, it does not work. Maybe it does. It just splits them and they just go into the ground. They keep going on the same trajectory, so they just go into the ground and die anyways, so it doesn't matter. No, it just doesn't work. Alright, I was having trouble with fighting Majasa on the new axe, so I tried an onion. I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now I take the fairy cost a nickel. And in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh yes, the important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. I have no idea what that was, but I really enjoyed it. Wonderful. Killing a boss of the quest Echo, loot it, gate out without completing the quest, and being able to do it again just by doing an Echo. Is this wanted? Nope. Report a bug. Will come more skills for each class after full release. Possibly. Yeah. There is room. We've like. You may notice there's room for one to go right there. There's room for one to go right there. There's not room for one to go right here because of the lock line. It does some weird stuff. But like there's room for abilities to go in here. So maybe it's possible. Is this wrong? That might be wrong. But yeah, there's also like there's an extra spot for one here. For an extra skill for each one of them here. Like we tried to set the UI up so there's like a little bit of extra room for some more skills to come. But launch, like this is missing one skill for launch of like a full complement of skills. What we plan for is our launch skills for each class. And we are not short on ideas for skills. Every class has a slew of like cut skills that like almost made it, you know? Some more than others, I think. Acolyte has an unbelievable number of cut skills. Oh my god. By far the most. I don't know why that class lends itself so well to just like cool skills, but it does.
I cannot do that. Stand down or die.
Die. Time to die. Alright. Hi. What are you responsible for on the dev team? I am a senior developer. And I primarily work on skills. I also do a lot of work on UI and just random things here and there. So like when we design a skill tree, Reimer quite often, you'll see him in chat sometimes. I don't think he's here today. He'll take the designed nodes and from the program we use to mark them up in, and he'll like put the nodes in place on the tree and like set all the variables of what it should look like and everything, and then I'll take that data from the tree and bring it into the way it actually like changes the skill and all the components that are required to change the skill and how that all works and everything. Oof, a little high. There we go. Well, get a little warm in here. Just let's open some windows and doors, you know, get some air flowing. Yeah, and stuff like that. And then I'll do a lot of, like I took the design of like hooking up the UI to make it actually function, so that when you click this button, it takes you to the skill tree and it like turns on this little element, and this back button takes you back to here and it disappears when you come back to here. Things like that. Like so, like I set up a lot of the functionality for UI as well. Yeah. All right. Paladin seems a bit lackluster for lightning smite, mostly melee and fire stuff. Am I missing something? We recently sort of added more lightning into it. It doesn't have a ton of lightning support stuff, but I think more uniques coming will beef that up a bit. Can you please tell me the name of skill you are currently playing? Searching for some builds on my second character. Yeah, for sure. Exclamation mark build should bring it up. In the chat, we'll take the build planner for it. My primary build, I'll go over it really quickly, is Javelin, is the main attack that I use, with Siege Barrage to rain down lots of arrows. I have everything converted to lightning. I use Lunge with cast Javelin on Lunge and cast Smite on Lunge. And then I also use Multi-Strike, which has cast Smite on it as well. And then I have a bunch of these relics which cast Smite when I hit with a throwing attack. So when I lunge, I throw and smite, and when I throw, I smite, and when I multi-strike, I smite. So it's a lot of smite. It's a lot of lightning damage. Do this one? No, do this one first. Alright, it can be difficult to know how various upgrades are affecting a character's DPS. Any chance of adding something like a timer and damage total to a target dummy to help with figuring out truer DPS? Yeah, so this is... I've been getting this question a lot lately. Like in Discord and in Reddit and like all over the place. We've been seeing this question a whole bunch. There's sort of this like magic genie in a bottle effect here, and once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. There's a lot of really good things that come from being able to accurately measure your DPS. You can it lets people pick out and test what's actually better. So you can make everyone can make their own builds a lot easier, which is fantastic. Having those tools is something we do really like, and something we kind of try and have with this damage per second number that's on the ability itself. It's definitely not perfect, and it never will be perfect. So we don't try and make it perfect. The primary thing that's for is comparing two items. So like if you're like, oh, I'm gonna stick this on here and see what happens to my DPS. Oh, it goes down a whole bunch. Okay, well I'm not gonna use that item then. You know, like that's the main thing that's for. But it's not perfect at all, because there's a lot of things like more damage to high health enemies. It can't figure that out. It can't detect that. More damage to, like, I could say like more damage to electrocuted enemies, and because I'm javelin and it's like I've got electrified from a whole bunch of places, so it's like everything's electrified for sure. So if I had something that said more damage to electrified enemies, it would always apply, and I could essentially count that in my DPS. However, that can't be taken into account in this DPS number. So getting more detailed, like a way of actually measuring your DPS, like just we wouldn't do it as like a time and damage. We'd give you your DPS number. That's not a hard thing for the game to calculate. Like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it properly, I guess. The big downside to doing it is that suddenly build guides have the ability to rank builds purely based on how much DPS they do. You can say this build is a 250,000 DPS build, and you can put a screenshot with the DPS number on it. There it is. And suddenly builds start to get ranked strictly by the DPS number that it has. Now I know you can say like, okay, you already have ladder ranks that you can be like, okay, well there's that number, right? Wow, 856, that's high. And so suddenly there's two ranking systems where you can be like top of the ladders and $250,000 DPS, and you suddenly get these objective numbers that you can rank builds against each other, and a few start to bubble up as more easily provable premier builds, and it takes away from build diversity quite a bit. And that's something that we'd like to avoid if possible. Now, I'm not saying that's like 100% just, okay, well, it hurts build diversity, so it's done. No. I think having a version, and this could change, and we're not set in stone on exactly how we're going to do it yet, but once we have a version, we'd probably start with something pretty light, like just average DPS, average like last 10 seconds DPS, or average recent DPS, or something like that, or maybe like average recent DPS and largest single hit, or something like that. I don't know. Where it's pretty rudimentary and you can't get the full picture still. So there's still a little bit of ambiguity maybe, but there's like enough that someone can test their own build out a little bit, and you know, like figure out what they're gonna do. I'm trying to set up like a video to show you guys, and it's just like not working. Who knows what's going on there? Okay, let's add a new one then. So yeah, we're going back and forth, and the reason why I say it's kind of like a genie out of the bottle thing, once we add that feature, we cannot take it away. So that's one of the reasons why we're a little bit hesitant to actually add to add this, because it's just like we don't want to we don't want to be in a position where we want to take it away and can't. I guess that makes any sense. I don't understand at all. I can't see. I want to like see the thing that I want to show everyone, but it won't let me show everyone. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Here is a sneak peek at some new VFX for a quite good skill in the game. Okay. Let's make this. Oh my god, why can't I move this? I don't know how to use OBS well enough. Center it, you fool. Cool, there it is centered. So this is the Flamery Vfx Rework that we are going on right now. Yeah, looks a lot more like fire, I think, which is nice. There we go. Little tease for you. Hot, 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 hot. It is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Do. All right. Hope that helped answer that question. That was a long, rambling question. I'll try and catch up here. Let's do this little rapid fire. Let's go. Are you all working from home? We are all working from home. We have always all worked from home. We don't have an office. When will the Falconer, Rune Master, and Warlock Masters come? I don't know. I'm sorry. I would love to tell you. I cannot, because I do not know. What is your stance on modding? Something that will be supported? Question mark. Maybe. Modding's really cool. Modding is something that lets a game thrive decades after it's closed its doors. It's something that lets even games just really shine in their heyday as well. It's not the primary focus we have for the game. So if we include modding support, it will be for a offline play only. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. So absolutely, it'll probably be for offline play only, and would also probably be well after 1.0 launch. Like we're not even going to consider what would be needed for us to start looking at it until after the game's 1.0 launch, at the absolute earliest. So like this is as much as it is something that we know people want, and we'd love to be able to work with you guys on it, we just don't have the bandwidth to. We need to focus on making the game first. So, I guess, good news, bad news. We are not against it, we just don't have the time to help you with it. That was weird. I did like a lunge, but didn't lunge. That was weird. Okay, what is how big is the current HG team working on LE? Because you guys work crazy fast on updates, fixes, and coming with new ideas. It just seems like WoW compared to other games. We're pretty. A lot of the things that. Yes, we do work quickly, and it's something that we have been working on improving how fast we do things as well. So like just better build pipelines so we can iterate even faster, and having that quick response time is important to us, and we will continue to try and do that. It is we've got a fairly sizable team now. Honestly, I don't know what the number is. It's still small compared to something like PoE for sure. I have no idea how big their team is, but it must be gigantic compared to us still. I don't want to put a number in case I'm wrong. Yeah, it's definitely getting up there. It's high enough that I don't know everyone's name off the top of my head anymore.
I cannot do that.
Mostly just know their handles. It's all through Discord. All right. 100% uptime transforms for Druid. We've heard you loud and clear. We know that basically the first thing that anyone does when they look at a transform that does not have a guaranteed uptime is figure out how to make it a guaranteed 100% uptime. Not everyone does this, but pretty well everyone does this. There will be ways that we're building this, and unless something changes dramatically, there's ways in the tree itself, for each of the trees, to already have 100% uptime if you want. And that'll be like relatively easy to achieve, especially because I think by the time you unlock any of the forms, your minimum skill level is high enough that you can already get the nodes to do that. So if that's like your first consideration, it'll just like be right away able to do that. I think I might be off on the math a little bit, but yes, it is something we know people like to do, and it is something we are taking into consideration heavily as we are building this. We are building in incentives to change forms still. We are building incentives in to play multiple forms. We're building in incentives to like. So the skills you pick along with the transform, one of the big problems with the transform is we want to get the feeling of being a bear, and casting tornado while being a bear doesn't make a ton of sense.
Stand down or die.
So we like to give you new abilities. So your ability bar changes out. That really gives you that feeling of I'm a bear. So because we do that, we pop out a new ability bar for you. You don't have access to any of your other abilities. We really want to give lots of options of things that synergize well with having bear on your bar. Because if you have and the classic one here that already exists and we're not taking it away is swipe. So swipe gives, like, you have swipe as a bear because it's already like it makes big sense. I'm a bear, I can swipe. And that's a really good example, but we want more skills to synergize than just we want you to have options. So right now you pick bear form, and if you're staying in bear 100% uptime, the other skills you take is more like it's like swipe, and if you found a way to proc something else through some other system, or a companion, and that's basically it, right? So we want ways inside the tree itself to give you options on the other skills that are going on your bot. So we know picking Bear Form, for example, is a pretty big commitment in what you're going to be doing with it. So we're building in more synergies with other abilities, which I don't think it's a big surprise to anyone, because it's what we've been doing with almost every skill. Yeah.
Stand down or die.
I can't remember what the question was. I guess I just started rambling, didn't I? Hope that answered it. Gotta stop rambling, Mike. You got questions to answer.
Yeah.
Leaks. I gave one. Yes, leaks. I got another one. It's another little one. I got another one. There seemed to be a different Twitch channel for Lost Epoch than this one you streaming at now. I'm not sure what Lost Epoch is. Any eventual plans for a super endgame boss to aim each league for example, A9 Cirrus and PoE? The final boss, A9 Cirrus equivalent, is not available yet. Leave it at that. Are there tempered blows and heavy strike nodes in the... Are the tempered blows and the heavy strike nodes in the Smelter's Wrath skill tree supposed to be worded as increased, or are they more modifiers? If they say more, they're more. Do you feel like Necro is a good place, or is it not where you guys envisioned it to be? I feel some skills far outshine others, and skills like Dreadshade could be integrated into the minion skill trees or just inherent in the minions themselves, as it still feels required.
I cannot do that.
I mean, I don't think any class is finished, personally. Personally, I'm like, I love Necromancer, the way it plays, and all of it right now. I was playing with Volatile Zombie last patch, and I played around a little bit more with that build in some off time after the patch, and still really enjoy it big time. I think there's maybe a little bit more room for updates on a couple skills, but I don't think it's anything drastic, really. I mean, is Dreadshade any more mandatory to take than Holy Aura on Paladin? You know? I don't think so. I think there's more Paladins with Holy Aura than Necros with Dreadshade. Alright. Any chance there could be an instant cast node on Judgment, probably behind Sanctification? I don't know what Sanctification is. I would say unlikely. Have bought the game some time ago, and it's already awesome. I guess I could look up what Sanctification is, couldn't I? Judgment. Sanct. Pulls enemies. Yeah. There's a better chance that node gets deleted. Alright. Have bought the game some time ago, and it's already awesome. Animations and gameplay are so impactful. But Sentinel, though, he have so low charisma to me. He really needs some beef to wear that heavy metal plates. Yeah, okay. Leave that feedback on the forums. Do the gods have a gender? I don't know. I kind of picture them with one, but that's might be just me being like my biases or whatever. I guess I picture Lagan as being male, I think. Might be because of the voice. pictured Majasa as female personally. Could be wrong. I could be very wrong about those. They're all kind of unique beings, so I don't know if they have a gender, they just are.
I cannot do that.
What engine does the game use, and what API? We use Unity. Please add Thunderstorm as Shaman ability, thanks. I mean,
Stand down.
the totem's pretty close to that. Storm Totem. Hey Mike, hope you are doing good. My question is, when multiplayer comes out, how do you guys plan on balancing group play versus single player regarding loot rewards? I hope multiplayer is not too OP. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd receive the exact same amount of loot and rewards in both, I guess. And like that'll always be the goal. I'd say that a very well organized, and this is sort of just, please don't take this as gospel of this is exactly what it's going to be, but I would say roughly a very well organized multiplayer team should be more efficient at collecting loot than a single person on their own. So okay, it goes really well organized party, single player on their own, really not well organized party at all, like just haphazard, everyone's playing a pure healer. Okay, maybe a little bit of extreme example, but you know what I mean. So like it'll be slightly better if you're in a super efficient organized party, and slightly worse if you're in a haphazard whatever party, and then single players in the middle. Which I think is just naturally true about almost every game, really. Alright. Is Cold Primalist Shaman in a good place? It seems like there are a lot of build diversity with Cold Primalist, Maelstrom, Avalanche, or Go Home. There's not a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's... Maelstrom, Avalanche are the two primary skills that most people use there, for sure. There's Shaman's still missing its top skill.
Yes.
So when it gets that, I would say there'll be some more stuff more builds available, and elemental conflux, whatever that skill's called, Tempest Strike. Tempest Strike it still needs a new tree as well. That's still gonna happen. Which is a big part of an elemental shaman. Alright. The new Scales of Eterra unique is great, but it feels like the drop rate is a little low as there are 3 variants. Is there anything that could be done to help with finding the pair of elements I'm looking for? There are stuff we could do. We don't have anything planned for that at the moment.
Too heavy.
Its drop rate is actually higher. I always click that button. Its drop rate is actually a little bit higher because of that. I think, like higher than it would have been otherwise. That's also a supporter unique. I think they asked for 1 and we were like, well, the other 2 are cool too, so let's just make the other element combinations. And they were like, okay. I wasn't actually there for that conversation, but I'm picturing that's how it went. Alright, question here. Reaper form, Reap have strange tooltip. It shows numbers much higher than it actually does. Harvest may have higher hit numbers, but Harvest tooltip much lower. Why is that? There's something that it's scaling off of better than it actually is. And it probably doesn't take the cooldown into account, so it probably is thinking that you can just spam it. That's probably the problem. Did you already have Lightning Javelin build, or do you happen to see Badger's Javelin? Java Zeus build guide he put out. Badger is who got me into this game, and I'm super happy about finding last Epoch. This I had this build prepped ready to go for day 1 patch, and was playing this on patch day. Reimer made this build for me. I'm not surprised that someone has made something very similar though. It's quite fun. I'm enjoying myself. Alright. On the topic of damage measurements, would it be possible to only show damage numbers from certain sources? For example, I'm having trouble distinguishing the base hit from the initial dot on strikes that do both, and the number disappear rather quickly. Probably not. Sorry. Weirdly, it's more efficient to show them all. Nice. That was a nice amulet for crafting base, I think. Alright, we've discussed that Battle Standards Dash and Surprise Initiative states on alt description that it puts Lunge and Shield Bash on cooldown, but Dash's tooltips itself says it shares a 5-second cooldown of Dash to Shield Rush and Lunge instead. Ooh. And this is the current interaction where it only shares a tiny cooldown with Lunge, allowing for back-to-back movement skills. This is the intended interaction. So when they share a cooldown, they're supposed to like give its cooldown to the other one. It's probably like that so that it can basically off cooldown. We might need a way to be able to share the full cooldown or a different number to share or something like that, because it's a combo ability, so the full cooldown is actually the time to use the standard plus the time it gets its cooldown, because it's a secondary piece of a combo ability. I would say it's not quite working as intended because you can do the back-to-back, but maybe. It's hard to say. Any chance of adding more skills to characters? Yeah, I already said that. Thank you for this great game. You're welcome. Are dungeons going to be located throughout the campaign that we'll come back to later, kind of like the Skeleton Key dungeons in Grim Dawn? Maybe. We're not quite ready to give out the full details of dungeons yet. And I'm way over stability to go do the boss. I have just been running and not paying attention. Oh, spicy. Oh, spicy. Any chance that you guys modify a current skill to be able to act like Flicker Strike? With a ton of investments, even if it didn't do top DPS, like the style of bouncing around. It's unlikely, I would say. Because, if we're like, so here's the problem. We put the skill in the game, and we intentionally make it weak. That it, maybe it has, it only applies half ailment chance, and it has, pretty beefy mana cost or something. So you gotta sacrifice a whole bunch of stuff to make its mana functional, and it can't proc anything else, and it's just not a very good skill, but you get that base feeling. The follow-up question to that is a quite vigorous call for it to be as good as everything else. Oh, it's my favorite skill, why is it so trash? And there's not really a great way out of that, you know? Apart from just buffing it so that it's not trash, and then we've just got Flicker Strike on our hands, which is less what we're interested in. I think I could see it. So there's some stuff in Rogue that we kind of wanted to get a little bit of that feel. So between Lethal Mirage and Shift, you can get pretty close to a similar feeling, I think, which is kind of what we were hoping for. Rogue and subsequently Falconer still have some things to come, so it's definitely not finished, and there'll be more things that help with that playstyle. Yeah. based on spoilers, it looks like it will return in Chapter 10, but Chapters 7 through 9 were rather light on the time travel aspect. Any chance the team will go back and add more random time travel to those chapters in from side areas? There's going to be more ways time travel gets worked into the storyline and gameplay mechanics still. At least that's planned. Hello, sir. Can you or anyone in chat explain to me the interaction between enemy of my enemies? I'm sorry, the node names, I need to know what they are. Someone wants to help him. Oh, Dredge, it looks like, yeah, I'd have to bring up the skill tree for it. Sorry. Feel free to ask in Discord and post the nodes in Discord, and I will help you when the stream's over. There's an Ask the Devs channel. Mike, you handsome devil. Oh, hi, Dark Swift. How you doing? Sorry, I'm not gonna read it. Thanks for the in-depth answer at DPS. By the way, Flamery looks effect looks dope. How many devs are you guys on the team? I already talked about that. Some rogue skills has melee and bow attack tag. For example, Flurry when attacking with a bow. Does that skill benefit from percent increases from melee damage affix? No, it only gains the damage from the current weapon you're using. So Flurry gains increased melee damage if you're using a sword, and it gains increased bow damage if you're using a bow. It does not ever get both simultaneously. What is the hardest skill to implement so far? The transforms, the Werebear, Spriggan, and third one. Those are really difficult. Yeah. Kind of weird. A little wisp. Serious question. Will you ever change the move skill to an attack skill? And one thing that bothers me is the lack of 6 skills. Can we add an attack to the second from the right skill? No, this is so we the reason here's why. I'm sorry, the answer is no. Here's why. Move only needs to be a button on your bar. Period. It's gonna stay that way. Move only will be a button on your bar that you can have as move only. We're not going to penalize the players that use move only on their bar, and we don't want to. So at that point, we're just saying like, okay, can we just at that point? So if given those parameters, the request is just, can we get a 6th skill? And the answer to the request, can we get a 6th skill in our bar, is probably not. We're really happy with how it's balanced with 5. It might happen down the road, I don't know, but for now, 5 is where we're staying. You can put one of your other abilities here, just in case anyone doesn't know that this is possible. So I feel like I got this to work to show the actual icons. I don't know why it doesn't show the icons. Huh. Swear I got that working. Weird. Anyways, so now this is, if I hold shift, it'll actually use Holy Aura, because I put that as my move or attack. Or if I had clicked on an enemy, it would use Holy Aura. But click to move, or just move only, will always be a button on your bar. As an option to have that as a button on your bar.
Yeah. Stand down or die.
Alright, a tangential question on measuring DPS. Are there plans on increasing the legibility of the target dummy numbers when there are multiple sources of damage? It's really difficult to even read the numbers. Yeah, it's... there's not really much we can do about that. It's... getting the damage numbers to be readable is something we spent a very long time on, and we may try and come back to it. The crits really pop out from everything else. And we do, that's one of the reasons why we lump dot numbers in together, so that they are easier to read. I know that people want more ways to be able to measure their damage and just decide if if a change is actually better on your build or not. And I think that the proper tools there are more like a DPS meter, which I say that kind of defeated, like we failed to find a better solution, and we kind of have. I don't know if we'll do it or not yet.
I cannot do that.
Alright, next question. Hello! Could you add a display above the... oh, wait. How diverse is the development team? I mean, nationality, extremely diverse. There's people from all over the world, which is really cool. Makes scheduling things difficult sometimes. But yeah, there's people all over the world, which is very cool. The vast majority of people I have not met face to face, or in quite a few cases have never seen a picture of them, so I can't comment on other forms of diversity, I guess you could call it. But I would say the team overall is very diverse, which is really cool. I don't know, not something I really think about. It's just people. Will you be making it so that you can change the skill position while in bear form? Yes, there's some good news. Bear, Spriggan, and third transform ability, whatever that's gonna be. I know like so many people are just hoping I'll slip up every time I say that. I should come up with like a code name for it. What do you guys want the code name to be? Yeah, we'll be able to move the abilities around your bar, and it will remember. It'll save it just like saving any other skill position. It's actually not built yet, so I shouldn't say it'll do it for sure, but it will. We know how we're gonna do it. We got the plan. Oh, that's a close one. Yeah, eat it. No, not me, you. Okay. Do you feel like Nick? Oh, you already answered that. I'm getting far behind when I start seeing repeat questions. Uh-oh. Is there any chance to make a cultist a true lich? A pure undead character skeletal form can't use potions or something like that? Maybe. There's some stuff in there that kind of has that theming, but hard cuts is tough to do. Will you be making it so that you can change the skill? Yeah, I already read that. Can we expect overall game-wide color saturation balance pass in the near future? I really like it the way it is. Maybe if you have a suggestion, head on over to the forums and leave a suggestion. Are you and Ichi happy with how the all these questions like are you happy with? It sort of feels like a here's what I want changed question. Are you happy with how Void Knight is right now and the Void Knight now that most complete of the masteries? Oh, and is Void Knight now the most complete of the masteries? I think Sorcerer is the most complete mastery, I would say. I'm quite happy with it. There's still one skill that's getting reworked in Void Knight, though. Will you be making it so that you can... oh, was that question asked like 3 times? Forge card identity feels scuffed, possibly of Smelter's Wrath rework. Maybe some sort of fire aura. Maybe. Any words on Spellblade update feels viable, but only 2 skills, but built specifically White Out, Shadow Strike, or Big 3860 AoE Flame Strike. Maybe. Will you be making so that you can change the skill? Please do not ask the same question multiple times, even if I haven't got to it yet. Unless you're 100% sure I skipped your question. I've never bought an early access game. Do I own this game if I buy this right now? Also, will this game be on sale anytime soon? Yes, purchases now are, like, we're not going to take the game away from you. You own the full game. You'll get updates as long as we're updating the game. There's no need to worry about that. I don't know when the next sale is going to be. We do have sales that happen. I do not have information on when that sale will be. It'll happen eventually. It's about the best I can say. Sorry. If I could follow up on my previous question, the nodes I referenced are worded as increased. However, they only give 5 to 10% increase per point and are locked behind a 2-point investment, and it just seems uncharacteristic given things like increases and not more modifiers. I just thought it might be incorrect wording. I don't think so. I think it's right. I don't know the nodes you were talking about. I'm sorry. Behind a 2-point requirement and increased. Sentinel? This? Oh, I've had this muted. Oh no. Oh no. A ton of gifted subs. Alright. Just Jord has resubbed for the 2nd month in a row, tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. And Daedalus has now gifted 5 more subs to the stream. Thank you very much. That is fantastic. The doctors, I'm sure, appreciate it. What are we doing here? Let me through. Come on. Come on, what's going on? There it is. Much appreciated. Outcast soldiers, with me!
I cannot do that.
Oh, they might actually survive now because the Holy Aura. Bump that up, Holy Aura! Let's go! Yes! At first I was afraid. I was petrified. Yes. Good. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I cannot do that.
I do have a question. Forge Guard, I did. What was the concept when designing the new Forge Guard tree? Forge Guard's really about a focus on your gear and an emphasis on throwing fire, physical, melee, or like and like a little bit of minion stuff as well. So throwing fire, physical, melee, minion, with a focus all on your gear. It's sort of the, like, that's Forge Guard in a nutshell. There's quite a bit going on there for sure. I don't think it's too much though. It's pretty good. Attack speed on Tempest Strike, raise defense penetration and your attack rate, or only defense penetration. Leave suggestions on the website, please, on the forums. How many chapters are planned? I think we have a couple more. 2 or 3 more, something like that. Some of them might be at post-launch though. Hey Mike, I was doing echoes and sometimes I find arena echoes. I personally don't like arenas, but I love doing map echoes. Will arena echoes will be always a thing, or at some point will they get separated? I don't think they'll get separated. We very frequently get people asking us to come up with more echo types. So removing one is not really something we're overly interested in doing, unless there was some major problem with it. If you really don't like doing them, they do say that they are that on them. Let's find one. Of course, I don't have any now. Arena, there it is. Woodland Arena, that is an arena echo. So, you can see that it is an arena, so you can avoid them. And there's always tons to do, right? Do you need experienced software engineers with .NET background? head on over to our careers page on our website, lastepoch.com/careers, and you'll see postings there. I believe there's 3 or 4 postings. You not lunch these things? That's new. Swear to God, you could lunch these. Huh. Wonder where we took that out. Whoop. Nope, don't switch your skills, Mike. Remember last time I did this boss and I tried to just kill the boss first and didn't kill the soul vessels? That was embarrassing. Jeez, who would do that? Alright, Mr. A-Bomb. Can we tank it? Yes, we can. Eek, maybe not. Get some mana back. Thanks for the mana, Mr. A-Bomb. Do health potions not spawn on throwing attacks? Interesting. Ooh. That could have been bad. We got it though. With that ring. Put a ring on it. Alright. I already did this one and totally forgot. Because I'm awesome at this, right? Huge idol drop, right? Huge! No, I think we gotta stick with what we got, right? What are the idols? Adorned. Those the huge ones? I don't think so. Keep current. Alright. What is the game engine? I already answered that. Sentinel smite triggers on multiple strikes is not working on Lagon at all. Yeah, it's a bug. For skills with multiple damage type, e.g. fire and physical, does % fire damage affix only scale the fire part of the skill base damage or not the physical part? Yes. There is now a possibility to filter bases with current implicit values according to their values. As an example, Sentinel helmet with crit avoidance that only 35% bases are displayed. I don't think there is. If that's a question asking if there is that, I think the answer is no, but I don't think there is that. What about having a dot damage be different color like crits yellow instead of white? We've tried that, it doesn't look good. Will you improve target system? My friend playing marksman and he showed me that if he keeps his mouse on the head of the target dummy and shoot, he'll miss all shot. If I keep this on the foot, the target dummy, he gets hit. The target dummy is a really weird case because it's has a terrible hitbox. Maybe that's just a problem with the target dummy itself. It should be a lot better. Oh, I know what the problem is. The target dummy is marked as neutral, neutral enemy or something like that, or neutral hostile. So it doesn't use the targeting system that all bow attacks use. That's the problem. You slipped up earlier with the next form. I will not repeat it though. I don't think I did. Can you spoil anything about the next content drop? There's new VFX for Flamery coming. Hello, do you guys already have a plan for the first MTX after release? If not, we need astral cats everywhere, in every skill. And as a pet, that's for sure. I don't think we have specific plans for astral cats, maybe. Look, I already started this one. Oh, I'm just a mess, apparently. Will there ever be other rewards from completing chapters other than skill points? Yes. That explains why ForgeGuard feels a bit behind other masteries at times, but new skills really have helped even boosted ForgeGuard's skills. No one saw that or remembered that you mentioned that you helped design this boss encounter. Yes, thank you. Any ideas how long one might expect for a response after applying for a last Epoch position? If it was done right around patch release, after all the hotfixes are done, the person who's, depending on the position, but the person who's likely looking at it probably had a ton on their plate for the last few weeks, and we'll be trying to get to it as soon as possible. Depending on the number of people who applied for it, I really don't know. I don't have access to that email. Well, I probably do have access to that email if I really wanted to go look, but it's not me who's doing it, so I don't know how many emails were received or applications have been received for it. If an application is like, so I'm talking hypothetically here. If I was doing it and I received an application that said, my skills include chasing my own tail, fetching frisbees and tennis balls, and oh, by the way, I'm literally a dog, that probably wouldn't get a reply. But, you know, I'd probably want to meet the dog because that's just impressive that they know how to type. Regardless, it might be a little bit just because there's either a ton of them or the person could be quite busy working on the patch. But that's mostly done now. I know that there were a ton of people who put in for the CT stuff, and those might not all get responses. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I had more info for you. I know it's very frustrating to be waiting on something like that. You should have received an automated response that was just like, here, we got your email right type thing. So you didn't receive one of those. I would double check the email. Alright. Will their Lagon fight be changes so targetable with like lunge, or is that working as intended? It's a bug. I don't know when it'll be fixed. We're working on it. Abomination's soundtrack is my favorite in the game. I'd love more awesome music like this. They're working hard on it. Music's so hard to get right. I don't know how the guys that do it, I am always so impressed by it, and I couldn't fathom trying to do it, because especially in a game, there's no control over really what's happening, so you can't compose a full piece because you have that like always fits the situation, because you just don't know what's happening on screen. There's no way to tell. There's no way to tell if I'm just sitting here or in the middle of a big fight, really. Or like just finish the fight, like, because I could stop fighting something, but it might just be like a brief respite, and then I have to go right back into things. Like it's really hard to get that just right, you know. And I don't know how to do it myself. It's not what I do. So people smarter than I am working on that. Are there plans for making the Echo web searchable by reward? Not at this time, but maybe eventually. With regards to the previous question about targeting, there is a problem in which shooting the heads of enemies will sometimes miss them. Okay. Bug reports in the forums. Completely offbeat, but I was thinking about the Spellblade theme, and in general homogenization of classes. When you said theme, I was like, Spellblade theme, my mind immediately went to like an audio theme, a sound theme, because we were just talking about that, and I'm like, do we have sound themes for every character? Like Chronos theme and Frog's theme and Marl's theme? Like, no, I don't think we do. Anyways. General homogenization of classes that dual wield, and asked the question to some people in game chat and friends who play, but what do you think of Spellblade as a class that goes staff plus one-hander? I mean, yeah, Gandalf would be sweet. Gandalf was pretty amazing, though. wielding a staff in one hand effectively is nigh unto impossible for the lowly mage by comparison to Gandalf. Will there be a convocation skill for necromancers which would teleport all the minions to the player? Maybe. I've seen that request a few times. It's possible.
Stand down or die.
I don't know. I'm personally not a huge fan of it, but like the minions have a lot of catch-up mechanics, and like they move faster the further they are from their target position, or the further they are from you, possibly. There's a distance speed thing that they gain to help with it. Ooh, you might want to get that heartburn looked at. Jeez. Actually, some nice res on that belt. I did not get an email in reply to my job application submitted. Oh, interesting. I could be wrong about that. When the cinematics... Oh my god, did I catch up? Yeah, I caught up. When the cinematics get applied to each chapter, will the cinematics be class specific? Ooh, good question. I don't know. I hope so. I feel like it'd be cool to have like some elements and themes in there that change maybe. It does so it creates a technical debt. In the sense that we then, if we ever add in a new class, we have to go make new cutscenes for that class as well. So suddenly creating a class gets an extra thing added onto it, and like that's not really that terrible to do if they're just like variations on a theme for each class. But it does too much. It's something that we have to consider each time we add a feature, because too many things like that create problems down the road. Because then it also makes making a new chapter more time consuming. Because instead of just making one cinematic, we have to make 5. Okay, if no one's getting an email, then it's I'd say it doesn't do that. I'll double check. No one's getting an auto reply email. It probably doesn't do that, and I'm just wrong. I thought it did an auto reply email for support tickets, and so I was assuming that it was just set up the same way. Oh, you contacted separately and confirmed it was received? Okay, yeah. So I'm sorry if I freaked anyone out there. It looks like it does not auto-reply with a confirmation. It probably should. That's my bad. I apologize. Will there ever be multi-classing? I mean, there... So, I'm going to say a kind of controversial answer. There already is. I consider this multi-classing right here. Like, I have shield throw in Forge Guard as a Paladin. As far as I'm concerned, that is multi-classing. I know the question what you're really asking is like picking up rogue skills as a Sentinel. And the answer to that is very unlikely. Very unlikely. But I don't want to say never, because, I mean, who knows? 5 years from now, we might be like, what can we do to spice things up? Oh, let's let people multi-class into new base classes or something like that. Because we're just insane and want to make our lives really difficult. Will we be able to get different presets for the After Monolith Zone. Not completely customizable hideouts, just different looking ones. I could see there being something there. Yeah, I maybe. That's definitely not out of the question. I think it'd be cool. Maybe like displaying trophies of prominent kills you've done, things like that. I don't know. Maybe it like pulls some of the blessings that you've got around the edge or in a circle on the ground. I don't know. Will there be another API like Vulkan, DirectX 11 or 12? Which one is it now? I don't know which one it is now. And I feel like we've got plans to open up more of them, but I above my pay grade. Any plans on? I assume this is fixing sacrifices so it will chain when casted by the player with spec skill node. It's not chaining right now? Interesting. Continuing with my Spellblade love, I find it interesting that the hybridized nature of the class doesn't have an all elemental signature skill. Like it has 2 fire, 1 frost, 1 lightning type skill. Any changes coming to the damage type and passive tree support for the current signature skills like frost strike. All elemental mic, please. We've found typically when skills try to combine multiple elements, almost 100% of the time, people immediately try to remove one of them for some sort of gain to focus on the other. And I'm sure there's exceptions to that, but like really frequently the immediate go-to reaction to multi-element skill is pull one of the elements off and just focus on the other. Which is part of the reason why most of them only have 1 element and conversions therein. But it's possible. I feel like Spellblade has all their skills though, unless I'm wrong. Will we one day be able to customize the Primalist's beard? Oh boy, do I hope so. I also consider that multi-classing, though I did forget that some people mean like Rogue X Primalist. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Multi-classing's in.
Stand down or die.
Got your back, bud. There is no lightning style belt unique. Anything to share? Nope. Also, the Villagers set. Villagers? I don't know what it's actually called. It's spelled wrong. Might not be. Could have some really good Shaman synergy, but it's mage class locked. Any chance of getting it opened up? Maybe. I can see that. Usually the sets have really specific things for a certain class. I'd say it's unlikely, but it's possible. Has for about a year. I assume that's in regards to the sacrifice not changing. I'm sure it's on some bug list somewhere for me. How exciting is it to see build diversity increase after a major class rework like with Sentinel in the newest patch? Very exciting. Oh, I missed the sub. SGO 848. Hoping that stands for Stargate, but I know it probably doesn't. Thank you for your resub 2 months in a row. Where was I? Oh yeah, build diversity. It's great. I think that the goal every patch is to just have more builds be possible and fun and viable. You know, like just turn that number up every time. That's the goal. Could we ever see a per character randomization of the idle space so that it's different Tetris game every playthrough? I mean, I totally get the desire there, and I'd love to. However, it's really difficult to balance if it's randomized. So people would like load into their character, see the configuration, delete the character, or maybe they wouldn't see the configuration. I guess. Well, you'd have to. It's actually not terrible to do different configurations for it, but I'd worry that would be a like reload your character 40 times until you got whatever's considered like the optimal one. So unfortunately, probably not. Go that way one. Go that way one. Ya jerk. Box. To sort 2. Oops. All right, more questions. What do we got? What do we got? I believe that set converts lightning or meteor to lightning. Ah, yes. That would probably not get converted then to Sentinel or to Primalist. We got an inkling of which base class and or masteries are going to be up for next patch. I mean, the primary focus next patch is Druid. It's not to say it's the only one getting anything, but it's the primary focus. When you guys design dual multi-element class main skills, are they typically intended to be off-meta due to the multiple element nature? Or is there certain build setup in mind during design that would allow the skill build to perform very well? We do try to make them function as best we can. We never design a skill specifically to be off-meta. Sometimes that we fail, and sometimes the skill does become off-meta, but we always design skills, like Perfect World, it's every single skill is like equally represented at endgame. So Perfect World, we have 50, you know, however many skills there are, 170 something total. I don't know what the number is. It's ridiculous. It's not that high. I can figure it out pretty quickly here. 31 per class. Is that what it is? It's quite a few. Can you tell us the general themes of the 3 missing masteries? What sort of things you expect them to do? Unfortunately, they don't have their skills finalized yet. We have a plan for each one of them, but it could change. Nothing survives first contact with implementation. What content is planned for next patch? Just rebalances? Nope, there's new content planned. I can't tell you what it is yet. Any reperform changes coming? I don't know. I don't think there's any major things coming next patch. But I think people really enjoyed the glow up that they've seen so far of the werebear form. I think we shared the Spriggan one too. And I think after they see that and the third one, Reapers are going to get a little jealous, and we'll have to nip that in the bud. Is this a bug? I've sometimes seen in boss fights health potions show up as beer. It is not a bug. It is a fun little Easter egg. There is another type of alternate potion drop that I haven't seen anyone post about. I have seen one drop, so I am sure it's working. And it's implemented the exact same way as beer, so I don't see why it wouldn't. But when a beer drops, so when a potion drops, there's a chance it becomes a beer. And when a beer drops, there's a chance it becomes something else. So if anyone knows what that is or has seen it, let me know. But yeah, it's pretty cool. What about changing the Halberd's set to convert avalanche into lightning or fire damage? I think it might spice it up a bit. Yeah, I don't know if we've done any avalanche conversion nodes. I don't know, maybe it might get something there. I know people really like conversion nodes. Here we go. What's this? A wild spoiler appeared. It's a lightning conversion Flamery Vfx update. Ooh. How do you guys balance the game? Is it a mix between early and end game, or is it leaning more to one side? I think we focus more on the end game balancing than early game balancing. But not exclusively by any means. We do very frequent playthroughs from scratch, and we'll generally try to tune. Like we'll sometimes move nodes in skill trees either further out or bring them closer in order to, like, we'll add or remove node requirements. We'll take nodes on the passive trees and shift them up and down a little bit, and that's typically how we try and balance for early mid game. And also just base values for affix tiers as well. So sometimes we'll like shift an affix a little bit more on the top end or the bottom end, or in implicit values will move around a little bit too. So like those are the things we like to do to balance the early mid game, and we sort of do that after we've looked at the end game stuff, because quite often that doesn't affect end game much. So like moving, where are we? Say we took this node and pushed it up 1 point once. Like say we took both of these nodes and moved them to the right one. So you needed 5 more points to get this and 5 more points to get this. That wouldn't affect endgame builds almost at all, probably. Yeah, I gotta figure out a better system for that. Take this away. And I realize you can't see what I'm talking about at all, so let me try that one more time. If we took this node here and moved it to the right one, and took this node here and moved it to the right one, it would make it, it wouldn't change end game builds very much, but it would affect early mid game builds some. Balance. Gosh. We're right at the end of the stream, guys. We got a couple minutes left. I'll answer some more questions here. Do you have an idea of how many more patches before full release? I do not. Nice sneaky way of asking when launch is. Good job. Good job. I see you. Hi, is attack speed on a skill additive with other modifiers outside of the skill tree, or does it affect animation speed directly? Oh, there's probably examples that are wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure they're just straight additive. Any plans on having support for where things like Eterra's Blessing can target minions when you hover their icon at the top? Maybe. We definitely heard that one a few times. If you're hovered over an enemy, and like, so say there's like your minions sitting underneath an enemy, and you have your cursor over both of them, and the bar at the top of the screen is the enemy's bar, it will target through the enemy and hit the minion. Or at least it should. We have the tech for that. Any teasers on how the gem socket will impact a character, rather stats, sticks, or changes on effects and spells? Thanks for doing the stream. I don't think we've shared anything with regards to gems or sockets, like, as being a thing. the plans we have for things like that are likely not what you'd expect. One of these is just phenomenal. Which one is it? Which one is it? Yeah, it's this one. Gimme. You might be reading into a little bit on what you expect more than what's actually going to happen, though. Any chance for cheese added that could act as a mana potion? I like that. No. Any chance in the future we get a mastery for Primalist called Barbarian that allows for dual-wielding two-handers? Maybe. That's not out of the question. It would do a lot to balance. There's a reason you can't dual-wield two-handers yet. Are there any plans to update Smelter's Wrath skill tree since it is on the older side? The tree doesn't seem to scale with as much damage as other Sentinel skills. Maybe? No direct plans for it. It's not on the list for next patch, I'll say that. I like your beard. Thanks. I like your beard too. Hope you have a beard that you're proud of. In which case, I like that you don't have a beard if you're not. I'm sorry. I'm just... I hope you like whatever's on your face. There we go. Pathing around corners is often wonky, getting stuck as if by friction, etc. Is that going to get looked at anytime soon? If you want it to get looked at, take a video of it happening and leave it as feedback on the forum. Ho-ho, that's a close one. I feel like I turn that volume up. Is that real low for some reason? Can we have dot icons under the enemy health bars so we can know if it has bleeding, burn, poison, etc.? Sure. You got there in the end. A beard would be a little weird with my name. Okay. Can't read into names these days. What's the next masterclass plan to be released? I do not know, so I can't tell you, and that's our time for the day. Thank you very much all for coming out. Oh, I missed one. Any chance we get a 6th spell to master as a reward for future endgame boss or as the main boss that isn't in the game yet? Unlikely. We do not plan on adding in a 6th skill at this time. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but not yet. Oh, we got there. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and the rest of the week next week. And I will be here again, same time, same place.